Unfortunately, not everyone can live in the suburbs, so we are now entering the tenements. This is another John Romero designed map. The last one was Sandy Peterson, so we'll be getting back to one of the more traditional Doom styles. Lots of backtracking, lots of exploring the same parts of the map, but with a different spin on it. This is Compelled Cooperation. I'm Ben, and I'm playing Doom 2, if you haven't figured that out by now. There's a lot going on in this map. There's a central area that you should have seen briefly as I walked by here. I'm just trying to clear out some of the stuff on the side before I get down there and have to deal with them up close and personal. I'm always of the opinion that taking care of as many enemies as possible when you actually can is a good idea. Because all of these would be a nasty surprise later on. I could open these doors if I actually had the keys for them. Here's the courtyard area I was talking about. And each spoke of the courtyard, each of the cardinal directions, has its own set of rooms and challenges, and I obviously need to get the red card key here. I can just trigger that trap, and I can't get out. But if I take my time here, utilize the space that I have, it'll be okay. Some of these levels aren't as bad when you've played them enough to know what the tricks and traps are. That includes tricks and traps. Whoops. Well, that's somewhat useful anyway. That's not useful. You can see there, the teleporter that I took up here is partially hidden in the wall. So if you don't know what's going on, you can easily not realize how to leave and just gradually die. Playing the floor as lava is less fun when the floor is actually lava. Although I guess in this case it's actually like boiling blood or something like that. Because there is lava floor textures, there are the nukage pool textures, which you see there, and then there's the blood texture. As I mentioned in the playthrough of the first Doom, the damage they deal has nothing to do with what they look like. They can correlate if whoever made the level decides they do, but they don't have to. And that was a waste. But you can see why I killed all those guys earlier. And okay, so we have the red key. Got into this courtyard, can't go here. I can still kill some people, but I can't actually go there. There are a few of them while I'm here. Try to keep my distance and be careful. Before rushing into something I might regret. Some of these maps will punish you greatly if you happen to run in without being careful. And especially some of the other more, not necessarily more creative maps, but maps that are less concerned about a fair ramping up of difficulty that are user created, those tend to be even less forgiving. If you're ever playing any custom maps for Doom. And I would include in that stuff like TNT Evolution and Plutonia that are Final Doom. Those are both technically official, but also technically made by the community. They don't subscribe directly to the id Software design principles. But they are internally consistent, so it's not as bad. But some of the levels that you'll play through if you're playing through the master levels for Doom 2, those are much more all over the place. Mainly because the authors, there are so many different authors. And I've got to be careful here. You can see that I took advantage of the fact that buttons have no Z-axis. They're infinite height, so I was able to trigger that switch by clicking on the switch, or rather, pressing the activation button on the switch without actually dropping down into the area that would have caused me to be face to face with an enemy. Specifically a pain elemental, I believe. And now that that's safe, I can go ahead and pick up the blue key. And I don't actually need these. Now I'll still need the yellow key before I can go to the end of the level, but ignoring that for the moment. I still see some people in there. Yeah, to shoot the wall, that's a good idea. And we can hear an old friend stomping around down there. As far as this level has had lots of lesser enemies. Unlike the last one, which was more of a mix. They tend to go back and forth, but close quarters, sometimes having lots of the lesser enemies is just as damaging, if not more so. Because the big thing about Doom is mobility, and the more mobility you have, the greater ability you have to negate any advantages the enemies have over you. Here, mobility is very limited. You can see that you can easily get ambushed. And let's see. Yeah, right there. I would love to have dodged that fireball, but no. Straight in the face, that's what I can expect. This is where the creepy lighting really comes in. That pain elemental, if you're not expecting him, can really make you have a bad day. And it seems a little silly now that the graphics look dated and we're talking about things being scary, but back in the day, this was really top-notch. Now, I've made this jump before. I don't need to, but I'll try it a couple times. As always, the up and down in Doom, it's difficult to go up. So the best you can hope for isn't so much jumping up, but jumping across. So you have to be going fast enough for that to be a viable option. Okay, well somehow he managed to survive that. Don't make me go down there again. I just hate that stomping noise so much, I think I'm gonna go ahead and try and kill him again. I can lure him around. Problem is, you can't get that angle easily. Alright, let me just go All the way around. Now, if you'll notice, I was actually able to go above him. Technically, in the original Doom engine, that shouldn't be possible. However, Z-Doom, when I started playing this, I neglected to turn that off in Z-Doom, so I've been keeping things consistent and keeping that setting as is. So this isn't pure vanilla, but it was never pure vanilla because here I am playing 16:9 in Z-Doom as opposed to the original engine. I believe that Chocolate Doom is what's used for all the competitive records. If you want a authentic, truly authentic Doom experience. However, as you can see, I'm not using mouse look or anything like that. That is very much not something Doom originally had. And here's a BFG, in case we didn't have it already. Start seeing drops for the BFG more and more often in these later levels. Just because they anticipate the possibility of you dying and then wanting to have a BFG again. And that's the wrong side. And there's another old friend. If I can... There we go. And we can hear some more fun stuff going on over there. Unfortunately, I fell down, so all of the damaging rays that actually do the majority of damage from the BFG were not able to land, but that's okay. And we got one more secret coming up here. If we're careful with how this elevator operates. And we can go ahead, grab ourselves 200% of everything. Only to lose that in the nukage pool here, I'm sure. Hey. Maybe not. Now, if I'm super careful, we can carry this on to the next level. And this is one of the more infuriating endings. Have to keep going back and forth as a little door opens up each time. And we're almost there. Keep going back and forth, killing one enemy each time. And keep all my health. And we're done with the tenements.